So we'll be focusing on the lower back here during this short yoga class, and we'll start sitting in a cross-leg position. You can sit onto supports if you need, like cushions and blocks. Just making sure your spine is straight and your knees are comfortable. Take a deep breath in, a slow breath out. And the next inhale, reaching the arms up. And exhale, folding forward, so hinging from the hips, keeping the spine straight and then placing the fingertips to the floor. Doesn't have to be a deep fold. And with the fingertips pressing down, start to really lengthen your lower back down. Press your sit bones into the floor or the support. You want to feel your lower back lengthen, rounding down through the sit bones. Keep moving your chest forward as you ground down. And then maybe you can fold a little bit deeper, walking the fingers forward. So thinking about getting your chest over your shins is where you're aiming for. Doesn't matter if it doesn't happen, but that's the aim. And as you hold this forward bend, just still making sure you're pressing the fingers into the floor and really rooting down through the sit bones. You can feel that length in your lower back when you do this. And then when you're ready, just bringing yourself slowly up, walking the hands in, and we'll change the cross of the legs. Inhale, lifting the arms up. And exhale, slowly folding forward so you see that hinging action from the hips. The hands go down, spine straight, grounding through the sit bones. Yeah, pressing the sit bones down. Inhale, lifting the chest forward and up, and exhale, folding. So when we sometimes fold, the sit bones lift. Yeah, so we're really just trying to keep them rooted to lengthen the lower back. This calm, steady breath. Continuing to remind yourself to root down through the sit bones, and then walking the hands in. If you can, rolling over the ankles and the knees onto all fours, or coming into all fours another way. We'll begin with some cat-cows now. So hands are roughly under the shoulders, knees roughly under the hips. You can adapt this as you need for your body. And on the inhale, drop the belly, look up. And on the exhale, starting from the pelvis, tuck the tailbone, round the back, chin to chest. And then tilting again now with the pelvis, drop the belly, looking up on the inhale. Exhale, starting the movement from that tucking of the tailbone, rounding the back, chin to chest. So moving from the awareness of the tilt of the pelvis, and then seeing that relationship of the tilt of the pelvis with the rest of the spine. And then on the next inhale, coming back to neutral, and on the exhale, rounding, tucking the tailbone, pressing the floor away, and then continue with that rounded back. Bring your hips back to the heels. Continuing the rounding as you begin to lift the hips up on the inhale, and exhale, still rounding, bring the hips to the heels. Inhale, rounded back, lifting the hips onto all fours, and exhale, keeping that nice stretch in the back of the body, that rounding in the back of the body as you bring the hips back. And just continue with your own breath. Continue this movement. This feels so good if you have lower back problems or tightness, stiffness there. Yeah, or maybe it's just that you've been sat down a lot and you need to stretch out the back. So you can rest now in a child's pose, just for a breath. It's okay if your hips are not all the way back, but if that is uncomfortable for you in your child's pose, feel free to grab some supports. So the big toes can be together, the knees apart, and you can slide some cushions or blocks underneath the buttocks so you can sit back onto something. But that's, it's optional. If you're fine with the hips up, that's also okay. The other thing you can try is to bring some height under the head to try and take the weight out of the knees. So you can make a pillow with the hands or make fists with the hands and rest the forehead there. And breathe. Very gentle rounding in the back here. And slowly from your extended child's pose, back up onto all fours, tuck the toes, and exhale, go back into a downward dog. Knees can be bent, heels can be lifted. There's no need to straighten the legs here, especially if we lose that length in the back. This is what we're working with. So try and avoid this tilting action where, a bit like in our inhale in our cat-cow where the belly drops and the sit bones lift, you're going a little bit midway, bringing the flash of the buttocks down towards the back of the heels, and hopefully you can see on me there's just a slight rounding in the lower back, bringing some length there. We'll transition into pigeon pose now, so bringing your right knee to the right wrist and the right foot either towards the left hand, or you can always have the right heel towards the left hip. If you're falling and tilting completely onto the right side and that left hip is lifted completely away from the floor, bring some support underneath the right buttock. Now this will then help you to bring that left hip down towards the floor. So sometimes lower back discomfort can be caused by tightness around the hip. So this is a really good posture to try if you have any lower back discomfort. You can also do this in the reclined version where you lie on the back instead. So to come out, you want to tuck the left toes, remove your support, and bring that left knee in slightly so you can press back into a downward dog, or transition however way you need to get in and out of the posture. So remembering, trying to give a little bit of round into the lower back, not too much, we're not rounding the whole back. The upper back is nice and straight, but the lower back has that length. And then we'll go to the other side, so pigeon pose on the left leg. Left knee towards the left wrist and left heel either towards the right hand or the right hip. So here, if you're in this position where the left hip is completely down, the right hip is lifted, the spine's twisted, it's all kind of out of balance, then you can bring a block underneath your left hip, just helping to steady the pelvis and really starting to feel that stretch in the left outer hip. Deep conscious breaths as you hold, awareness in the outer left hip, awareness in the lower back, just feeling that release all around that part that might be feeling a little bit tight. So to come out, tuck the right toes, remove your block from the left side if you have your block, walk your right knee in slightly, and then it's much easier to go back into a downward dog. So flesh of the buttocks moving down to the heels, upper back nice and flat, we're not rounded in the upper back, but we definitely feel like the lower back is slightly rounded and there's a lot of length there. We're not shortening the back by tilting the sit bones towards the ceiling. Slowly you can just bring your knees down as you exhale. And at this point you'll need a belt or a scarf, whatever you have lying around at home. And you can come to lie down on the back. So bringing the left foot to the floor, bring your right knee into the chest and placing your belt around the ball of the right foot. And extending that right leg straight. So no need to lock the knee, you can still work with the hamstrings, another area that can be tight and cause tightness in the lower back. You can still open them without locking the knee. Yes, as long as you feel something along the back of the leg, that's great. You can also extend the left leg if you need to really feel that stretch. So you're just finding a point that works for you so you can really feel the back of the right leg opening, but nothing behind the right knee. Yeah? The knee should not be in pain, should not have any discomfort. We're in the big muscles, the hamstrings and the calf muscles. Steady your breath here. Allow your lower back to rest into the mat. It's very tempting to try and tilt the pelvis again, but really allowing the hips to be heavy into the mat. So bringing both sides of the belt into the left hand now, and with your right thumb, you're going to take your right thumb into the crease of the hip. So where your thigh and your hip are joining, the thumb gets placed there. And then you're actively pressing your right thumb into that space and turning your right outer hip down towards the bottom of the mat. You'll feel potentially quite strong sensation in the lower back as you do this, so do be mindful. Go in stages if you need. And you're lengthening the outer hip away from your right shoulder. Right outer hip away from right shoulder. That's the action you're looking for. Breathe here. It's a really nice release for the lower back. It's okay if your right toes want to turn out to the right side as you turn the outer hip. That's completely normal. And then you can slowly release your right thumb, bring both hands back to the belt, and see if you can keep that length in the right side of the body. So what you've just created with your thumb, you're now holding without the thumb, pressing the right hip away. And then slowly, when you're ready, you can just release that side. Hugging the right knee into the chest. Left leg can be bent or extended at this point. And just make a few circles with the right ankle. Going both ways. So releasing your right foot down to the mat now. Bring the left knee in, and we'll do exactly the same on the left side. So the belt goes around the ball of the left foot. The left leg extends straight. And straight doesn't have to mean locked knee. Relaxing the shoulders. Yeah, so can you see here, I'm just pointing out this rounding we want to feel in the lower back again. So you allow your hips to be heavy into the mat. Your right leg can extend straight, or you can practice this with the right foot on the floor. So whatever you need to do to feel that stretch in the back of the left leg, in the big muscles, not behind the left knee. Yeah, if you're behind the left knee, you'll need to just lower the leg slightly or soften the knee a little bit more. Steady in the breath. And then bring in both sides of the belt into the right hand with your left thumb, so you can see it more clearly now on this side. The left thumb is going to go into the crease of the hip, so where your thumb and your hip join in this position. and you're actively pressing your left thumb, your left hand away to slide the left outer hip down away from the left shoulder. If the left toes need to move out to the left side to allow this action in the hip, then allow all that to happen. Really feeling that length. Maybe you feel some strong sensations in the lower back. And just be mindful here, so anything that feels too strong, you can bend the knee slightly more. Breathing. Trying to find a sense of relaxation here as well. And then when you're ready, you can release the left hand, take the hands back to the belt, but you maintain that length down the left side. So the action of the left thumb is still happening when you remove the hand. So this is one of the best things you can do for any tightness in your lower back. You know, working with hamstrings, with the outer hip shifting away, really releases all of that tension in the lower back. So when you're ready, you can bend the left knee, hugging the knee into the chest, and just make some circles with the left ankle. It's always nice just to lie down flat into your relaxation before you continue with the rest of your day. So I recommend doing this, and of course you can spend as long as you have time for here. But I'm going to leave you now, say thank you for joining me.